You're exhausted, aren't you? Tired of showing up for everyone while nobody shows up for you. Tired of being available for people who disappear when you need them most. You keep answering calls. You keep replying to messages. You keep saying yes when your soul is screaming no, and yet you feel empty. Because every time you overextend, you trade a piece of yourself. Listen to me. Not everyone deserves access to you. Your time, your energy, your presence, they are priceless. And the more freely you give them, the less value people see in you. Here's the harsh truth. Availability kills value. When you're always there, you become invisible. When you give too much, people start expecting it. When you overextend, they stop appreciating you. You need to protect your energy like your life depends on it. Because it does. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is pull back. Not to hurt anyone, but to remind yourself and them what you're worth. Your energy is your most valuable asset. Not your money, not your possessions, not even your time. Because your energy fuels everything you do, your thoughts, your choices, your relationships, your success. And yet, most people spend their energy recklessly, like it's infinite, like it will always be there tomorrow. You give and give and give until there's nothing left for yourself. Think about it. How many times have you stayed in conversations that drained you? How many times have you entertained people who constantly complain, gossip, or criticize? How many times have you said yes when your soul was screaming no? That's the trap. You're leaking energy into places where nothing grows. And here's the truth, not every connection deserves your investment. Your energy is like money. When you invest it wisely, it multiplies. It brings you peace, growth, and fulfillment. But when you waste it on negativity, drama, and people who don't value you, you end up bankrupt mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Every person in your life is either a deposit or a withdrawal. There's no in between. Some people uplift you, inspire you, and push you to be better. Others drain you, doubt you, and keep you stuck. And if you don't protect your energy, you'll keep funding people who have no intention of helping you grow. You need to start asking yourself one powerful question before giving your energy away. Does this feed me or drain me? Every phone call, every message, every plan, every relationship, it either adds to your life or subtracts from it. Start paying attention, because where your energy goes, your life flows. When you spend your energy where it grows, you start thriving. You attract better people. You make better decisions. You build better habits. Your peace expands, your focus sharpens, and your life levels up. But when you spend your energy where it drains, you feel stuck. You lose motivation. You feel unappreciated. You carry burdens that were never yours to hold. This is why boundaries are powerful. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're filters to protect your energy. You're not required to answer every call. You're not obligated to explain every no. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to you. Silence is also a form of power. You don't have to argue. You don't have to convince anyone to understand you. You don't have to stay in spaces that no longer serve you just to avoid conflict. Sometimes, Your absence speaks louder than your presence ever could. Protecting your energy doesn't make you selfish. It makes you smart. Because you can't build your dreams, nurture healthy relationships, or grow into your highest self if you're constantly running on empty. The truth is, you become like the people and environments you pour your energy into. Surround yourself with chaos, and you'll absorb chaos. Surround yourself with negativity, and you'll start thinking small. But surround yourself with visionaries, doers, believers, and healers, and your energy will multiply. Remember this: you are not an unlimited resource. You cannot show up fully for others if you're constantly abandoning yourself. Your energy is sacred, rare, and powerful. You get to choose where it flows. You get to choose who has access. You get to choose what drains you and what feeds you. Silence creates power. Stop explaining, stop justifying, stop overgiving. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. Silence is control. Silence is power. But most people misunderstand it. They believe power comes from arguing, convincing, defending, and explaining. They think the louder they speak, the stronger they appear. But in reality, true power doesn't shout. True power doesn't beg to be understood. True power doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Because when you know who you are, you stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop pouring energy into arguments designed to drain you. You stop justifying your choices to people who were never meant to walk your path. You don't need to respond to every insult. You don't need to correct every rumor. You don't need to convince people of your worth. The people meant for you will already know it. The people who don't will believe whatever suits their narrative, and that's not your problem. Silence builds mystery. Silence makes people curious. Silence keeps your power in your hands instead of handing it over to those who want to control you. Because the moment you start over-explaining, you give away pieces of your energy. You open doors for judgment, manipulation, and control. When you master silence, you master yourself. You learn that not every reaction deserves your response. You realize that your peace matters more than winning arguments. You understand that distance often speaks louder than words ever could. Stop explaining. Not everyone deserves to know the why behind your decisions. Some people ask to understand you, but others ask to judge you. If you keep explaining your every move, you hand over the steering wheel of your life. You give people the power to validate or reject you. And your worth isn't up for debate. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Because silence leaves no room for misinterpretation. Silence leaves no ammunition for critics. Silence protects your energy when words would only make things worse. Stop justifying. You don't owe anyone a justification for your boundaries. You don't owe anyone a reason for putting yourself first. You don't owe anyone an explanation for removing yourself from spaces that no longer serve you. Justifying is an energy leak. Every time you feel the need to prove your worth, you reinforce the idea that it's negotiable. But your worth is non-negotiable. It doesn't depend on approval. It doesn't rely on permission. It simply exists. Once you stop justifying, you step into true freedom. Because when you live for yourself, you stop living for the validation of others. Stop giving over. Giving is one of the fastest ways to drain your power. You think giving more will make people stay. You believe bending over backward will earn their love, loyalty, or respect. But the truth is, the more available you are, the less they value you. Energy is like currency. When you give too much without balance, you go broke emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. The people who truly value you won't need you to overgive. They'll meet you halfway. They'll match your effort. They'll respect your boundaries. Protect your energy. Give where it grows. Pour into people who pour into you. Silence teaches you something powerful. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, your plans, or your heart. When you stop explaining, you confuse manipulators. When you stop justifying, you disarm critics. When you stop over-giving, you expose who truly values you. Your strength is not in how much you say, but in how much you choose not to say. Your power comes from being selective. With your words, your energy, your time, and your presence. Boundaries build respect. People value what they have to earn. Boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are doors. Doors that you choose when, where, and for whom to open. But here's the truth most people never realize. People don't respect what comes too easily. People don't value what they didn't have to earn. And if you keep giving unlimited access to your time, your energy, and your heart, you'll eventually become invisible to the very people you're trying to please. Boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are self-respect. Boundaries are an act of self-love. They are the invisible lines that protect your energy, your peace, and your worth. When you have no boundaries, you invite chaos. When you allow everyone access, you drain yourself trying to please people who will never be satisfied. When you give endlessly without limits, you teach others that your time and your energy have no value. And here's the harsh truth. The more available you are, the less they value you. The more you bend, the more they push. The more you give, the more they expect. But when you set boundaries, everything changes. People start noticing the weight of your presence and the silence of your absence. They realize your time isn't free. Your energy isn't unlimited. Your heart isn't on clearance. Boundaries create clarity. Boundaries are not about punishment. They're about protection. They create clear rules for how you allow others to treat you. They show people where your limits are and what you will and will not tolerate. Without boundaries, resentment builds silently. You say yes when your soul is screaming no. You stay quiet when your heart wants to speak. You keep giving pieces of yourself away until you wake up one day feeling empty. Boundaries prevent this. They separate what's yours from what belongs to others. They keep you grounded in who you are instead of who others want you to be. Boundaries build self-respect. When you enforce your boundaries, you send yourself a powerful message. I matter. My time matters. My energy matters. My needs matter. And when you start valuing yourself, other people follow your lead. Because the world treats you based on how you treat yourself. If you act like your energy is limitless, they'll drain it. If you act like your time is cheap, they'll waste it. But when you stand firm, people start respecting you. Even the ones who used to take advantage of you. Boundaries filter relationships. Pay attention to this truth. The people who benefit from your lack of boundaries will always complain when you set them. They'll call you selfish. They'll say, "You've changed." They'll make you feel guilty for putting yourself first. But the right people, the ones who truly value you, won't be offended by your boundaries. They'll respect them. They'll adjust. They'll meet you where you are because they understand your worth. Boundaries don't push away the wrong people. They expose them. They reveal who's with you for who you are and who's with you for what you give. Boundaries protect your energy. Your energy is your currency. Every yes costs you something. Every late night favor, every emotional rescue, every sacrifice, it all comes with a price. And if you spend it recklessly, you'll go bankrupt emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Boundaries help you invest your energy where it grows instead of where it drains. They allow you to give without resentment and love without exhaustion. Because love without boundaries isn't love, it's self-destruction. When you protect your energy, you stop being everything for everyone and start being enough for yourself. People value what they earn. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. People don't appreciate what's handed to them freely. When access is unlimited, they take you for granted. But when you make them earn your time, your trust, your attention, and your heart, they value it more deeply. Scarcity creates value. When your presence isn't guaranteed, your absence speaks louder. When your energy isn't always available, people respect it when they get it. When your love isn't automatic, it becomes something worth cherishing. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. If you allow constant disrespect, they'll believe it's acceptable. If you give everything without boundaries, they'll assume your energy is endless. But when you create limits, you teach them to approach you with care. Boundaries don't just build respect from others, they build respect for yourself. They remind you that your worth doesn't come from over-giving, over-explaining, or over-sacrificing. It comes from knowing who you are and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. Distance reveals truth. Pull back and watch who truly values you. Sometimes the loudest answers come from silence. Sometimes the deepest truths are revealed when you stop chasing, stop explaining, stop over-giving, and pull back. Because here's the reality no one talks about. You'll never know who truly values you when you're always available. You'll never know who genuinely cares when you're constantly the one showing up, calling first, checking in, and carrying the weight of every connection. Distance is not punishment. Distance is revelation. It shows you exactly where you stand in someone's life. It separates the ones who only enjoy your presence from the ones who truly need it. It exposes who's there for you and who's only there for what you give. Pull back to see the truth. When you always initiate, you blur the lines. You can't tell who actually wants you around and who's just tolerating your presence. But the moment you step back, when you stop calling, stop texting, Stop forcing conversations. The truth begins to speak. Watch carefully. The ones who value you will notice your absence. They'll reach out. They'll make space for you. They'll meet you halfway. Not because they need something from you, but because they value you. And the ones who don't, they'll disappear. Not because you pulled back, but because they were never truly there in the first place. Your distance didn't break the bond. It simply exposed that there wasn't one. Distance tests connection. Real connection doesn't crumble under space. When someone cares, they don't forget you just because you're quiet. They don't need constant reminders to prove your worth in their life. Distance tests effort. It reveals who fights to stay close and who lets you drift without resistance. If you're always the one trying, always the one reaching, always the one keeping things alive, then maybe you're not in a relationship. Maybe you're in a performance. Stop performing. Stop begging for attention. Stop proving your worth to people who refuse to see it. Pull back and watch who steps forward. Space protects your energy. Pulling back isn't just about seeing who values you. It's also about protecting your energy. When you stop pouring into one-sided connections, you create room for balance. You stop feeling drained. You stop feeling unseen. You stop chasing validation from people who were never capable of giving it. Your energy is sacred. Not everyone deserves access to it. Not everyone earns the right to your time, your trust, your heart. Distance allows you to see where your energy flows and where it gets wasted. Absence speaks louder than presence. People get used to your presence when it's constant. They start taking your kindness for granted. They assume your attention will always be there, waiting like air they breathe without thinking. But the moment you step back, everything changes. Absence creates awareness. It forces people to feel the weight of your presence by experiencing its loss. Suddenly, they notice what you used to bring to their life. Suddenly, they realize your value, not because you reminded them, but because silence reminded them for you. The ones who care will show up, pull back, and pay attention to actions, not words. When someone values you, you won't have to wonder. They'll show up. They'll make effort. They'll find ways to stay connected, no matter how far the distance is. The ones who care will text back without delay. They'll call just to check on you. They'll notice when your energy shifts, even when you don't say a word. They'll meet you halfway, because real connection is mutual. It's not one person doing all the work, but the ones who fade when you step back. They're revealing exactly where you stand in their life. And as painful as it is, that's clarity. And clarity is power. Distance creates balance. Healthy relationships aren't about constant availability. They're about equal effort. You shouldn't have to beg for time. You shouldn't have to fight for attention. You shouldn't have to compete to be seen. When you pull back, you reset the balance. You remind people and yourself that your presence is not free. It is earned. It is valuable. It is not something to be taken lightly. Distance also teaches you something powerful. Who makes you feel safe, seen, and valued without having to ask. And once you know that, you stop settling for half love, half effort, and half presence. Silence separates the genuine from the temporary. Not everyone you lose was meant to stay. Sometimes distance is the filter that removes the wrong people from your life without you having to force anything. The ones who are temporary will drift. The ones who are real will anchor themselves to you. Silence does the sorting for you. It reveals intentions without confrontation. It saves you from wasting your energy on people who only show up when it benefits them. It makes it impossible to ignore the truth you've been avoiding. You teach people how to treat you, your boundaries, your silence, your distance. They're not just actions. They're lessons. They communicate your worth without you having to say a single word. When you pull back, you're saying, my energy is valuable. My presence is not free. My love is not endless. If you want me in your life, you have to meet me where I am. And that's not pride. That's self-respect. Because people will always test how far they can go. They'll keep taking until you decide to stop giving. They'll keep expecting until you show them your limits. But once you create distance, you shift the dynamic and you force people to reveal where they truly stand. Protect your peace first. Because without it, you have nothing to give. There comes a moment when life forces you to choose between constantly pleasing everyone else and finally choosing yourself. And if you've been exhausted, drained, or quietly breaking while carrying everyone's expectations on your shoulders, here's your reminder: protect your peace first. Because without it, you have nothing to give. Not your love, not your energy, not your patience, not even the best version of yourself. Your peace isn't just a preference, it's survival. When you're constantly living in chaos, absorbing everyone's demands, opinions, and negativity, you lose yourself. You wake up heavy, scattered, disconnected. You spend all your energy fixing, explaining, defending, and proving, until there's nothing left for you. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You've heard this before. But maybe today you need to hear it differently. You can't be everything for everyone if you're nothing for yourself. The more you abandon your own needs to meet everyone else's, the more you shrink. And the truth is, no one is coming to refill your energy for you. People will take and take and take, not always out of malice, but because they're used to your giving. You've trained them to believe you'll always say yes. But saying yes to everyone else while saying no to yourself is not selflessness. It's self-destruction. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. Because without boundaries, you burn out. Without rest, you break. Without space to breathe, you lose the very essence of who you are. Not everyone deserves access to you. Read that again slowly. Not everyone deserves your energy, your time, or your attention. Some people thrive on chaos. Some people drain you with drama. Some people expect from you endlessly, but never pour anything back into you. You keep trying to heal people who don't want to change. You keep overextending for those who wouldn't cross the street for you. You keep answering calls, replying instantly, showing up every single time, even when it costs you your peace. Stop. You are not obligated to destroy your inner calm just to keep everyone else comfortable. You're allowed to disconnect. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to take space without explanation. Peace is expensive. Protect it like it's gold. Silence can be sacred. Not every battle deserves your response. Not every insult deserves your defense. Not every invitation deserves your presence. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your peace is to stay silent and walk away. You don't need to argue to prove your worth. You don't need to explain to be understood. You don't need to beg anyone to value what you bring to the table. Silence is not weakness. It's strategy. It's self-respect disguised as composure. It's choosing your energy over their chaos. Because every time you react to negativity, you hand over a piece of your peace. And once you start handing it out, it never comes back the same way. Boundaries are not walls. They're doors. People misunderstand boundaries. They think setting limits means pushing people away. But boundaries aren't walls, they're doors. They teach others how to enter your life without breaking you in the process. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you teach people that your peace doesn't matter. Every time you tolerate disrespect, you give permission for it to continue. Every time you sacrifice your well-being to avoid disappointing others, you silently tell yourself you're not worthy of protection. You are. Boundaries are not cruelty. Boundaries are clarity. They separate what strengthens you from what destroys you. They protect your energy so you can give the best of you to the people and things that truly matter. Protecting your peace changes everything. When you protect your peace, everything around you shifts. Your relationships become healthier. Your mind becomes clearer. Your decisions become sharper. Your energy starts attracting better things. Because you're no longer operating from exhaustion and resentment. You stop explaining yourself. You stop begging for understanding. You stop forcing connections that drain you. You start choosing calm over chaos, stillness over noise, and quality over quantity. And then you realize something powerful. Protecting your peace isn't about escaping the world. It's about creating one where you can thrive. Detach to reclaim your power. One of the hardest lessons you'll ever learn is this: you cannot control how people treat you, but you can control how much access they have to you. Stop fighting to change people who choose to stay the same. Stop expecting loyalty from those who don't value commitment. Stop over-explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying the weight of things you cannot control. It means you stop drowning in other people's storms while abandoning your own inner calm. Because here's the truth: the more you chase peace outside of yourself, the more you lose the peace within yourself. Protecting it starts with you. Your energy is currency. Spend it wisely every day. You invest your energy in conversations, relationships, dreams, and battles. But not every investment gives returns. Some leave you depleted. Some leave you questioning your worth. Some leave you carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. You need to start asking yourself, is this worth my energy? Is this worth my time? Is this worth my peace? Because once you spend it, you don't get it back. And when your energy runs low, so does your ability to love, create, grow, and live fully. You owe it to yourself to protect the very thing that fuels everything else, your inner calm, your mental clarity, your peace. Stop saying yes to everyone. Stop being the person they run to only when they need something. Stop burning yourself out to keep people warm who wouldn't light a match for you. This is your life, your energy, your peace. Start guarding it like treasure. Because the moment you stop being overly available, everything changes.